Welcome to another live stream, everybody. Just wanted to take a look at Bitcoin. The markets are very volatile, and that includes, obviously we're getting moves to the downside as well. I personally am not panicking yet, but I want to talk about a few different scenarios for Bitcoin and that kind of thing. Also want to take a look at some altcoins. For those of you here live with me right now, the MDX ALGO community, if you guys have any altcoin requests or anything like that, by all means, throw them into the chat. I'll get to what I can, or, hopefully I'm paying attention and actually get to it. But yeah, gonna take a look at a bunch of things, some basic market structure, longer time frames, shorter time frames, altcoins, indicators, Stuber fibs, you name it. So basically right now, just to start things off, just to tell you where I'm at here, I did take a little bit of a scalp long. I am still in half my position. I closed half of it because we did reach my Stuber fib target. Speaking of that, I mean, you guys know I'm always looking for those Stuber fibs, and right now I'm mostly just favoring the bullish ones. Even though I am a moon boy once again, I'm still, when I'm entering trades on the 1 minute, I still have to be mindful of that and start taking profits to downsize my risk, make sure I pay myself and all that sort of thing. So that's why, yes, this is a small move, but this is a 1 minute chart. I pulled this range. That Fibonacci is my range. So I'm always playing the range first until it's broken. So yeah, basically laddered in on my Stuber fibs here, right from the 786, 886 down towards the double bottom there. And I hit all three of my entries. So my average entry is right around the 886. So yeah, like I said, ended up closing half my position at the 214. That's basically just pulling the opposite fib, right? If I'm pulling from the top to the bottom because I'm looking for resistance rather than support. Notice that 214 lines up absolutely perfectly with the 786 reversal. So that's my reasoning for taking some profits, closing half my position, because at this point, even if I get stopped out just below 86.8, I'll still take a little bit of profit on this position just because I already closed half of it in a profit. So risk-free at this point. I am honestly, I'm kind of more interested in trading altcoin pairs at this time. Just because I think there's so much room for upside volatility. I mean, we've seen some altcoins just flying. Doge is one that I've been watching recently. Right now, it's looking like it is, I'm going to have to wait for some sort of structure to form at least on the 1 minute at this point. So can't get into a new long on that. I don't want to FOMO into a short on that. So I'm just going to have to wait it out a little bit. But all in all, I mean, so many coins are looking just fantastic. I mean, as it stands right now, yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of weakness. Maybe we do reverse. Maybe we come significantly lower, testing some lower structure. But until we actually break some structure, then there's really nothing for me to worry about. I mean, the trend is to the upside on so many assets now, and Doge, especially with, Elon basically being in office now at this point and all that sort of thing. Basically, I just feel like follow that guy and follow the money kind of a thing, right? So I think Doge is one that's going to be interesting. Last market cycle as well, it performed very well. So, it's the original meme coin. So it's caught my attention once again. I do see possibilities for a little bit of a pullback because we did technically lose this little support trend line here. That was fairly well respected. I mean, we got several wick touches here, and this is on a 4-hour chart. So to see this break into the downside, yeah, maybe we do see a bit of a correction, or maybe we just find horizontal support and just carry on to the upside. It's hard to say right now, but yeah, that's definitely one on my radar for the shorter time frames. So that's one that I want to keep an eye on. Maybe I'll watch the 5 minute for now. Actually, I'll bring it right down to the 1 minute. You guys know I love the 1 minute, and that's the best way to find some examples of how I can kind of try and spot some reversals with the indicators and that sort of thing. I'm not interested in YOLOing into a bottom yet. I do want to see some sort of structure change. The way I would look at this right now on the 1 minute, basically I have a low here, lower low, lower high, lower low. This would technically be my lower high. Yes, that's very microanalyzing. Sorry, getting tongue tied here. But that's how I like to look at scalping, right? Just any sort of sign that we, break some sort of a lower high, even if it's on the very immediate structure. I just don't want to YOLO into a long at this point, just guessing this is the bottom, when I could wait more so for some sort of a structure break like this, followed by a pullback. And that's at that point, that's where I'd be looking for those Stuber fibs, right? I'd be looking at something like that. But obviously we have to see what happens. The structure is not there for that yet, but that's just kind of something I'm watching for right now. As for Bitcoin, let's hop into some longer time frames. I was talking about this on a stream on Financial Summit last night briefly. All of my concerns as far as the longer term goes for Bitcoin, I do have one concern about this chart on the daily, which I'll get into in a sec. But all of the concerns I had as far as where the midterm and even the long term was heading, all of my concerns have basically been erased. One big one of mine on the weekly chart was just that we had this bearish divergence on the RSI, marking a potential reversal, and also this weekly sell signal. And that weekly sell signal was actually invalidated because we ended up closing a weekly above it and actually got a higher buy signal. So we now have two sell signals on this entire Bitcoin chart that basically have not worked out on the weekly sell signals. Every other one was at least a 45, I think even 50% correction. So that was something that was on my radar to at least be a little bit cautious of at our 8-month resistance, but that concern has been removed. Even if we see some sort of a pullback at this point, just know that we do have support below us, right? I mean, we could flip this resistance into support. That would be ideal if we see a pullback, get something like so before carrying on, and then just staircasing higher, right? Setting higher highs, confirming higher lows. That would be absolutely beautiful. Even if we drop a little bit lower, I would even consider this little structure here where we had that little pause, that little red candle there. I would not want to see the weekly chart drop that level personally. Yes, there would still be support down here, but just the fact if we did lose that block there, I would start to have my concerns there. Even on the daily chart right now, one thing that I am considering is basically, I really like that we had this little pause on the way on the uptrend, right? Because that just confirmed a higher low basically. Again, a very immediate trend, just like what I was looking at on the 1 minute. Sorry, one sec. But basically, when we broke all-time highs here, we did not see any sort of a pause other than this, but there's no red candles in there. I'm not really confirming it as a higher low after we broke up from there. So I'm still looking at this as the higher low on the daily. And the fact that we ended up getting this little pause here and getting above that box makes me think that, well, as long as we can hold this box, I was looking at this as a high and a very immediate higher high, confirming this as the higher low, at least some sort of structure on the uptrend, right? Yes, I understand it's not a big structure point by any means, but that's just as far as some sort of structure on the way to the upside, at least we had a little bit of a pause. So as long as we can hold this level, I think Bitcoin's in very good shape. If we end up losing this and flipping this yellow box into resistance, I would start to have my concerns. I still don't think it would be the end of the bull market or anything like that. Just the risk of a much bigger pullback would become more real. Even, again, that same box I was looking at on the weekly, that's basically the same thing on the daily here, right? So we could even drop all the way down towards, that would be around 69 down towards 67K. I'm not saying that we have to go there. I'm not saying we are going there. Just understand that it's at least possible if we end up losing this yellow box as support here and flipping it to resistance. If we do end up dropping it and just ending up staircasing higher anyways, just getting a little bit of a liquidity grab, then I think the bulls are just proving that they're in total control, right? So I think right now the market looks great. The fact that the uncertainty of the election is over. Yes, on the way up, like I was just kind of explaining, we don't have a ton of structure. So that's where those pullbacks are might be a little more painful than what people are going to be ready for. And, if we drop this support and we start targeting levels significantly lower towards 70K, people are going to be very scared. People are going to think that, oh, that's it, bull market over, when in in reality, it's really just the chart coming back to some sort of structure, and I don't think there's anything to worry about. I would even start looking for some sort of a Fibonacci. 786 lines up perfectly with the bottom of my all-time high resistance box there, right around 72.5K, and the 886 down around 69.8. And notice that lines up with the start of that next block. So anywhere in there, I mean, would be beautiful grounds for a really big bounce, in my opinion. If we end up starting to drop levels lower than that, I mean, then we just have to go structure by structure, right? I mean, at that point, then we have to start seriously considering the possibility that we're going to test the bottom of this range. And honestly, that would be a typical Stuber setup, just on a much larger time frame than I'm used to trading, right? Because basically, what we have here is this green box. I mean, that was our high, and we ended up setting a higher high. I'm actually going to erase this one, move it over here, because that's where the high was. This one never actually broke it. So this was my high. This is my higher high. And the higher low would be the lowest point between those two, which is way down around 49K. So, we could see a very significant pullback if something spooks the market, if the market makers just decide to push it there, whatever. Just understand that we could go significantly lower, and in my opinion, the market's still not in a bad place. I think that we still have a bunch of support below us. That's one thing, right? Especially after trading sideways in that massive range there for 8 months. The fact that we now broke out of that, I mean, that's beautiful structure there. Bitcoin has done such a good job of building support on the way up. I really don't see us losing that range if we do drop. If we do, well, then we're in trouble, and I guess it's bear market on. But I personally just don't think we're there yet. Some other things that I've been watching, I'm actually going to just clean a few things up here. Let me just move this back to where it was. Actually, I'm going to make it a line, just so it's a little less distracting. I don't want to see us drop below that line, basically. Right around 85.1K. I'd really like to see us hold that support. But yeah, let's bring up the ALGO master again. We still have this beautiful trend, and notice that's another thing right now, lining up with that higher low support that I just mapped out. Yes, I know it looks insignificant. I know it looks like it's micro analyzing, but notice that the buy trend also lines up with that. So obviously, I mean, trends break. They never last forever. But I love looking at these indicators for confluence and just noticing which way things are trending. And right now we just have a beautiful series of higher sells and higher buy signals, right? So that's a beautiful thing to see. So I think Bitcoin has very good support, not much lower than we are. I really don't see us going much lower. But like I said, if we drop this yellow line, just understand, if we end up flipping this support basically into resistance, yeah, we might see a further tumble. But as it stands right now, we're very close to support, at least potential support. Cause, good morning. Welcome. Long time no see. Oh, we've really filled up here. Great to see so many people in here. Got some very familiar faces, even got a few new faces. So welcome everybody if this is your first time on one of my streams. Yeah, I really just like going into basically every time frame and looking at basic structure, Fibonacci's, these indicators, all that sort of good stuff. I actually want to go back to Bitcoin just to check. Okay, I am still in half my position here. Looking a little bit weak. We did end up closing below. We set a lower low here. But, I mean, we never just straight panicked, right? We did end up reclaiming the 786, 886. So, whatever. As long as we're holding above that 86.8, then I'm comfortable having that second half of my position still open. Oh, got a little bit quiet, did it? Maybe I just got further away from... Is that better? I might have just got a little bit far away. Okay, sorry, I was starting to lean back in my chair, so... Okay, right on. Thank you for that, by the way. Yeah, so basically, I don't know if you could hear me or not then, but I'm comfortable just holding on to that other half of my position, because as long as we haven't broke this Fibonacci structure, we have not broke the 115. I mean, there's a good chance that the rest of this position does get stopped out, but I just want to hang on to it just in case. And like I said, since no matter what, yeah, if I take a loss on the second half here, yes, it'll cut into the profits that I took up here. But that's why I took profits at my range target, right? Playing the range until it breaks. And if anything, it looks like it's breaking to the downside. So, but it's risk free. So just gonna kind of babysit this a little bit. Wanted to go into a couple altcoins. Actually, I want to check the Bitcoin dominance here. This has been absolutely flying to the upside. We have the same thing, beautiful trend of higher buys, higher sells. The point of control is now looking like it's flipping from resistance into support. This is on a daily chart. And I know the Bitcoin dominance can mean a couple of different things. The way I'm seeing it right now, I love to see that Bitcoin dominance is climbing and Bitcoin is in a very beautiful uptrend. To me, that's showing that the focus is on the king of crypto. It's not all over the place. There's a lot of focus here, and it's actually, holding its uptrend very nicely. If Bitcoin was dumping off a cliff and that Bitcoin dominance was climbing, I'd start to think that maybe people are a little bit scared to be in the higher risk assets. But right now, it just seems like the focus is on the king. And once Bitcoin does end up, consolidating a little bit for a longer period of time again, I think and then if we see Bitcoin dominance drop from there, I think altcoins will absolutely explode at that point. And I mean, some already have been. Like I was talking about Doge earlier. That's one of interest. Solana's obviously been performing well. Alva, I know I was pointing this out just before the start of my stream here, but this thing, absolutely beautiful. I did call this out on my Twitter at around 17 cents. Basically what we have here, I mean, this is one of my favorite things, right? I was just talking about this with the indicators, is especially on a low cap coin like this. I think it was somewhere around $1 million market cap at the time. So it was very low, or 2 million, whatever. So very low market cap, but it does have a lot of price action here. And obviously since launch, it just dumped, which a lot of things do. That doesn't mean it's a dead project. That's just what a lot of things do after a pre-sale. And just formed a nice rounding bottom. We ended up breaking out of this tight little range here, and then even got a little bit of a pullback retest and ended up just blasting off. So, I mean, our point of control is so low at this point. So yeah, same thing as what I was talking about with Bitcoin, right? There's obviously going to be big corrections and stuff like that. I am taking profits along the way. If anybody did take my call on this in the Micro Gems chat or on my Twitter or anything like that, just know that these things can reverse at any time, right? So, I mean, I'm only holding about at half of my position still, because I ended up taking a quarter at these couple of take profits here. My take profits on the way up are going to get smaller. I just wanted to make sure I covered my cost and paid myself a little bit before seeing some sort of a reversal. And now it's just risk free, so I can let it run and just take profits along the way a little bit. Just at any major structure point that I see on the way up. But really, it's still such a small market cap. And I just love that we ended up getting that higher buy signal with the Algo Master. Just absolutely beautiful. I love seeing these buy signals on the 4-hour or the daily on low market cap coins. Man, you just get some very violent moves. Another one I wanted to talk about, actually, speaking of that, and I know a lot of you guys are familiar with this, would be Trio. Yeah, MEXC would have it. That's another one, right? I mean, this is on the daily chart. We got this buy signal back here. We ended up breaking above this tight range of consolidation. Actually, it was a bit of an angle. Basically something like that. Flipped that resistance into support, got the daily buy signal, and just absolutely exploded from that candle close. When that buy signal would have been a thing, I mean, we did end up getting that pump over a 3x or 4x, over a 300% move to the upside. Yes, it was very quick, but notice that we are holding that buy trend, and we do have our daily point of control below us around $1.75, something like that. We're currently at $2.30. I mean, and this thing is a very small market cap as well. I want to say, I don't remember what it is. I think when I was buying it, originally it was around 1 or 2 million, something like that, maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. It's very small. I think it's below 5 mil. 5 mil? Okay, yeah, Will knows. 5 mil. So yeah, to see a daily buy signal on the Algo Master on a low cap coin like this, I take those very seriously. And here's a perfect example. Here's a perfect example. I mean, these things are just mooning with that signal. So the problem is, I mean, I would love to go into some more degenerate meme coins and stuff like that, but obviously if they're not on TradingView, then we can't use these signals, unfortunately. But that would just be beautiful. But anytime we can get these low caps that actually have some history, enough history to get a 4-hour daily buy signals like that, man, these things have been performing very well. Yeah, that's what I've been doing too. I've been buying a little bit of Trio as we go here, as we're trading sideways. Starting to feel a little bit of FOMO on that one. I want to start filling the bags a little heavier on that one, I think. Boosters engage soon. Yeah, I mean, it looks primed for it. I mean, if nothing else, even if, you know, if I knew nothing about this project and just going by this signal here and going by this wick here, I mean, even to fill that wick, even if we aren't going to see all-time highs or anything, filling that wick is over, over 100% from here. But I personally, it's not like I think that's where we're going to top, especially with how the market conditions currently are. I mean, altcoins, in my opinion, are just getting started. I really think they're usually late to the party. Usually, you know, I like to see Bitcoin dominance high with Bitcoin pumping, going into all-time highs, and from there seeing, you know, that dominance eventually drops off. And then we can see altcoins really start to perform. That's when, you know, people have made enough profits with their Bitcoin. They're feeling, whether it's just diversifying, adding risk, feeling ballsy, whatever, just getting a little cocky, just getting into higher risk projects, right? And that's where we're really going to see some of those altcoins fly. But yeah, so many of them have been performing so well already. Oh, interesting. Am I allowed to talk about that? So apparently, somebody here in the chat with me knows a little more than I do about the project, but apparently there is buy walls that you can't see gobbling up the selling orders. She is dump proof currently. Don't worry. Oh, sorry. I should go back to the Trio chart. And I mean, you can tell, right? It is just getting pushed higher and slowly, and in my opinion, very healthy, right? We're still just barely, we're consolidating right above the point of control. I mean, look what happened with Elva when it started getting above that point of control, right? So, you know, another buy signal with point of control, nice buy trend, small market cap. Just looks beautiful to me. So I think that's going to be a big one. Doge. What is the Doge daily? Oh, man. Oh, I guess Blofin doesn't have a ton of history here. But yeah, what's Bitcoin up to? Still looks to me like I think we're seeing a bit of weakness here. I wouldn't be surprised to see us push a little bit lower yet. I do expect the second half of this position to get wiped out, but that's fine. Like I said, it's risk-free at this point. Pump it, sir. Yeah. Pump the Trio, pump the Elva, pump the Bitcoin, pump the Doge, pump it all. You know, technically we might have even had a smaller Stuber in a Stuber here. But even that one would have played out already, right? Just kind of goes to show, you know, I've said so many times on all these streams, I say that, you know, once you start to see these, you just see them popping up all over the place. Here's a perfect example. Very micro trend once again, but we end up breaking that lower high. and then we pull back to the 786,886, come back up to that 214. So even that one, I'd consider that a successful one too, but obviously a much smaller range. I'm happier about playing one like this. Oops. Yeah. What have I done? How is everyone feeling on the market? Is anyone starting to get scared that, oh, why aren't we going straight to 100K? Or is everyone understand that pullbacks are totally normal? I think a lot of people have market PTSD right now. I mean, the fact that we just basically kept going right back to the bottom of the trend, right? I mean, it was 8 months where playing these downswings was very fun. But yeah, I think that damaged a lot of people because every time we got near all-time highs, we would just end up seeing a big nuke. And now as soon as we got above all-time highs, I think it was like 2 or 3 days later, I was seeing people calling that, oh, that's it. This was all fake. That's not, bull market canceled. I mean, all we were doing was consolidating above all-time highs. That wasn't a rejection. It's not like we got above and quickly reclaimed below it. We just consolidated for several days above that all-time highs. Like, it's no wonder we pushed to the upside there. But yeah, so far, I mean, I really want to see us hold this, I would say about 85K. This is on the Blofin chart. Obviously, every exchange could vary a little bit. Even 85.2, somewhere in there, I'm going to call it 85. But I'd really like to see us hold above that level. Check the 4 hour here. 4 hour, same thing, right? My structure hasn't changed, even though we lost this little bit of structure here. I mean, here's where I'm looking at high, higher high, lowest point between the two. That's my higher low, my confirmed higher low. So that's the same support level, right? So I really don't want to see us lose that. If we do, then, there is the possibility for a short setup, even if we get some sort of a bounce. That, hey, maybe at that point we end up getting that kind of a setup where we do pull back a little bit further. But honestly, I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger on shorts right now. I'd personally rather just wait for structure to change to the upside and then take a crack at longs again. Like in this case, yeah, if we break to the downside, whatever, at least I made a little bit by taking profits on that Stuber fib there. But I don't care if the rest gets stopped out, and I won't become bearish. I won't be FOMOing into shorts. I'll just basically be looking for new bullish structure to form to consider getting back in. Yeah, the Lord of round trips. And that's something we've all been through, right? That's one reason why I really love trading Fibonacci's, is because there's very little room for interpretation or changing anything. They're very structured, and that's what I really like and need when I'm trading. So that's why I really like trading Fibonacci's myself. One concern I do have right now as well is that we do have lower trending buy and sell signals on the 1 minute. So just another reason why I'm glad that I took some profits up here before we got that lower sell signal even. But that just confirmed that, hey, there is a good chance that we push a little bit lower. I would like to see this reverse eventually, if we have a series of lower buys and then we end up getting a higher buy signal, even on the 1 minute, I'll at least take that into consideration that, hey, maybe the trend is starting to shift, and at that point I can start looking for some scalps to the upside again if I end up getting stopped out on the rest of this. Yeah, liquidity. The liquidations, I only have the 50 and 100x liquidation levels mapped out on the liquidations indicator here. And yeah, I mean, that's another reason why I say it's absolutely possible that we send to significantly lower levels. But that doesn't mean that I think it would be bearish though, right? I think it would just be grabbing some liquidity, refueling before carrying on the some sort of a parabolic run, right? But yeah, there's a lot of liquidity below us, a lot of liquidations. Trio is on, I believe I've bought some on BingX as well as MEXC. They both have it for sure. I'm not sure if anywhere else does. My mic just came online. Oh god, I'm confused. Yeah, BingX, very low volume. MEXC does have a little bit better volume. I am a little bit scared of MEXC in general. That's kind of why I split them up a little bit. Yeah, Gate would probably have it as well. They usually have everything, right? What's the 4 hour looking like? Yeah. Oh man, look how beautifully that held that higher buy trend here. Beautiful entry there as well. I mean, as long as this trend's going to continue, and I have no reason to assume that it won't. Like, look how well that point of control was holding. We'd get a little pump, come back down, instantly held there. That would be your that would be the market makers stepping in, or whoever defending that level, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Almost as if somebody is holding this exact level here. So, I mean, yeah, that looks beautiful. That 4 hour is fantastic. When moon, sir? Elva here looking like it's creating a higher high on the 4 hour as well. Holding that buy trend on the 4 hour. Yeah, there's so many things just looking beautiful right now. Except the 1 minute on Bitcoin and Doge. I don't think I'll be getting myself into any new longs for a little bit. I'd really like to see some sort of structure form, you know, where we take out some of these resistance levels and then come back to a Stuber fib. Very theoretical at this point. Obviously, we do not have the structure there at all, but that's just kind of what I'm going to be looking for going into the evening. Does look like we got some buy volume stepping into the Keltners. What's the 5 minute looking like? Let's zoom out to the 5 minute. Yeah, lower buys, lower sells. Yeah, I'll probably wait for that reversal as well before I get into any new long positions, honestly. I don't really like to fight the trend of the Algo Master. Yes, it's absolutely possible we're going to find support here. I'm just not all that comfortable with it yet. The MEXC trio chart again. This one, 4 hour or daily? Hourly? Same thing on the hourly. Hey, nice point of control here, chasing the price. Buy signal, higher buy signal. Beautiful. You're going to make me buy some more right now, aren't you? Yeah, every time frame, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, it all looks fantastic to me. The thing is, guys, I want to be clear about this. When you're trading or buying, even spot buying these low cap coins with low volume like this, Trio, Elva, Swarm, things like that that are low volume, low market cap, I personally would never use a market buy. You can create slippage on yourself very easily. I keep an eye on the order books. I set limit orders so that, I know what my maximum slippage is. Especially, like, really, it does not take much to move the price on coins like that. Oh, you were curious if you'd pump the price.
Alexa, set alarm for 25 p.m.
Oh,
Alarm
we
set
got
for
Shrek
4
on the line
p.m.
here. I'm just going to mute you in case anything is not supposed to be said on here. Yeah, should a guy buy a little more? Silly question. What is everybody accumulating? Is there any altcoins you guys want me to go over? And if so, let me know what exchange as well as what time frame that you want to look at. I'm around for another 10 minutes or so.
Did you see Litecoin's tweet about identifying as a meme coin?
Litecoin is identifying as a meme coin?
Yeah, did you see their tweet?
No, I didn't. Um,
I'll post in the channel.
yeah. Solana. I want to check Solana. What do we got going on here? What's the 4 hour on Sol looking like? That was a super fib rejection if I've ever seen one. Unfortunately, it's a little late to that party. Already almost hit its target there. What would that have been? If you laddered in at both. Yeah. Over 6.5% move to the downside there. I don't know right now what's going to happen there. I don't like that it lost this structure, honestly. The fact that we had this little box here, the fact that we ended up dropping this, just losing that immediate higher low structure here, and then coming back to that perfect Stuber fib. I mean, that's just a classic short setup that I'm usually not doing it on the 4 hour like that. I'm usually more so looking at it on the 5 minute and whatnot. And like I said, I don't feel bad missing a short right now. Even if the setup is there, I'm just personally not all that interested. But that's one concern to possibly have here with Solana, the fact that it did lose that structure. If it ends up seeing a big pullback, I mean, the point of control is way down around $142. I personally don't see us dropping that far. Just understand that anything is possible. I personally don't see that happening. I want to see where the indicator's showing us. Where's the ALGO master? Yeah, we still have nice support. Well, right at the bottom of the range that I outlined here. Still have that. Obviously, it's a higher buy signal. So even if we end up dumping that level, setting a sell signal on the ALGO master, it's going to be a higher one. And at that point, if we print a higher buy signal on the 4 hourly again, then I mean, as long as this trend continues, that might be an absolutely beautiful entry once again. So that's something to watch for if we do end up seeing a correction to the downside. What time is it? Yeah, it's almost Asia open. Maybe we will see a little bit of a reversal here. Broke this immediate downtrend, breaking the sell signal. That might end up printing a higher buy signal. Nope, lower. So still have the indicators trending to the downside. I still don't really want to fight that trend at this point. The rest of that position was stopped in a small loss, but I took a little profit on that as a whole anyways. And that's why we pay ourselves as we go, right? Especially scalping the 1 minute. it's important to remember what you're playing. Don't expect a home run trade if you're trading a shorter time frame like that, obviously. But yeah, this is just a little bit of a risk management tool that I use. Honestly, I know a lot of people mostly use indicators to try and force as many trades as possible. I myself, I'm more so like using them as risk management and that sort of thing. I mean, yes, to some extent, yeah, I do look for entries with them as well. But in a case like this, I'm just holding off on FOMOing into a long right now. Even if, maybe we do blast off from here, that's totally fine. You don't catch them all, but just using risk management with this indicator, seeing that they're still trending to the downside, I'm just not ready to pull the trigger yet. Just looking for that early warning sign of a reversal, basically, and then I can start playing the trend to the upside, looking for scalps to the upside again. AGI on the 4 hour, I can check that out. What exchange? I can probably just go here. Is it this guy? 17 cents approximately?
Yeah, that's the one.
Perfect. What do I see here? Let me just start with a naked chart. Actually, let me just kind of zoom right out to get a better view of things. Okay, so it's a fairly new one, it looks like. Since I've never looked at this, I just want to take a peek at a few things. Notice that. See, again, this is, like I said, you start to see them everywhere. High, higher high, pull from the low between the two, and look where we pulled back to. Filled that fib pocket pretty much perfectly. The thing is, I don't like how it's struggling to really take off. Like it never even did make it back up to the 0.5 fib. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. I mean, really, as long as we're holding above this green line, which is the 786 from that bigger fib pull, we're still looking pretty good, because I'm just looking at this as our high, higher high. And if I were a betting man, and I definitely am, yeah, right at the 786 right now. So I would like to see it start finding support relatively soon. Ideally, I want to see it set a higher low rather than coming all the way back down. But that being said, basically the 786 is where I start looking for support. So I myself, when I'm looking at trading this, like if I wanted to long this, I like to ladder in throughout the fib pocket and down towards my invalidation, because I really like to bring my average entry down if I can, just reducing that risk a little bit. And not to be confused with, multiplying my position size by 5 times or 6 times or whatever. It's more so I have a position size in mind and I'm breaking it up so that, yes, I might not get into a position as big as I was hoping for, but just reducing the risk a little bit, right? So that's kind of how I go at looking at these fibs like that. So yeah, technically, I'm hoping to see this bounce relatively soon. I know nothing about this. This is the first time I've ever looked at this. But as far as fibs go, that's kind of where I'd start to look for support.
Yeah, so yeah, this is the AI coin. Might get something out of it, if the AI start running properly. But yeah, this is pretty much the area I was looking at. I've got a couple of limit orders, one at 0161 and one at 0155. But yeah, it was good to see your view on it.
Yeah, and like, honestly, if it's something that you're looking at buying anyways, I mean, it's better to wait for that pullback than to be FOMOing in right as that structure breaks, right? The fact that you get that structure break and that nice pullback, I mean, it makes a lot more sense to me to be buying at these levels rather than up here. So if it's something you're spot accumulating anyways, then yeah, I mean, we're starting to get into some support levels, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it did have a nice little consolidation over here on the side too. So yeah, we could pull back a little bit lower, but I mean, if it drops this range, then obviously we have to worry that, well, maybe it's dropping to even lower range, right? Maybe something like this, in which case you'd be looking at support down here, which honestly, I could see that happening. Wouldn't be all too crazy, but it really depends what the market's going to do, right? I mean, if the whole market's going to correct, then yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense we'd come all the way back down here. But if the market's going to bounce relatively soon, then absolutely, I think that's where we're starting to get to that support level. So either way, I mean, I think it's in good shape. Like I said, I know nothing about it, but as long as it's not a failed project or something, I mean, it does look like it's kind of, got this nice rounding formation. So yeah, what's the market cap on that? Do you know? Like, is it fairly well established or?
I don't know, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was more kind of either a swing trade, or if it will decide to shoot off, then potentially keep it for a couple of months even. But it's not like a huge position I'm planning on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, always just keep in the back of your mind what's worst case scenario, right?
Yeah. No, that's great. Appreciate it.
Actually, just want to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to erase some drawings here, zoom in a little bit, check the daily. We got this sell signal. It is a higher sell. I would love to see us reclaim that, especially if we could do, break that sort of a high, that lower high there. If we could break that, that would also break us above this sell signal. And if that would end up printing a higher buy signal, that would be beautiful confirmation, in my opinion, that it's going to continue to the upside. But that's the hourly. And yeah, at that point, I would like to see it break that level and then see some sort of a pullback once again. Don't always get what we want, but that would be a nice confirmation that, hey, the bigger trend is going to be respected, because then you're just zooming in looking for those higher lows on the shorter and shorter time frames to really zoom in. But yeah, I mean, I think where it's at on the grand scheme of things on the 4 hour, like I showed, I think it's all right.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Oh, Trio's up a little bit from the start of my stream, I think. Are we pumping this? Let's go, Will. Come on, pull the trigger. Market buy that. Come on. Yeah, that looks so nice. That looks juicy. Seeing it tick up once in a while, I just assume it's you guys. Do you know anything about exchange listings or anything? It would be great to see some buy volume, like some. That picture cracked me up so much the first time I saw it. Yeah, it'd be nice to see some trade volume come into this. That would be nice. But the chart itself, structure-wise, looking great.
Yeah, I think that Trio is one of them. If it gets listed on exchanges, I might have to trade it a little bit just to get my amount up.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. Just coin accumulation. That's how I started trading back in the days. I would just spot trade it. I didn't care what the value of something was. Just try and sell it and buy it back cheaper and accumulate that way for free. Yeah, if it starts getting some more trade volume and stuff, I would love to do that just to build a little baggie for free.
I have a feeling I'm going to want my thousands of coins to be tens of thousands of coins before we pump.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be nice. I don't know if we're gonna get it. It might happen too soon here. Yeah, it really looks like we want to fill that wick at the least. What did I say that was? 100% from here? Yeah. About 103% from where we're currently trading. Yeah, I could see it happening. Bitcoin. Yeah, still trending to the downside. Yeah, I really don't see myself getting into a new position right now. I really want to see these. I want to start seeing the signals printing to the upside a little bit. I want to see a nicer Stuber fib pullback, that sort of thing. So I think I'm actually going to wrap up. I'm honestly, the way it stands right now, I'm more excited about altcoins than I am about Bitcoin again. I think some of those low caps, especially low caps that, like I said earlier, low caps that are on TradingView that we can use these indicators for, I think it's going to be a huge advantage. I've seen this, in previous months as well on smaller cap coins. I mean, you get that daily buy signal on the Algo Master and they just explode. And here's a perfect example. So I'm going to be on the watch for that. If anybody notices that, definitely throw it in the old chat on any low cappers. Yeah, sending those millions to MEXC now to buy Trio. Let's go. The price is slowly going up while we're on stream here. Oh no. Bull market over. That's it. Pack her in. All right, guys. I think that's all I really wanted to go over today. Like I said, I don't see any reasons to panic yet. Yes, there's absolutely some reasons why we could pull back a little bit. But I'm just not all too worried on the market. Even if we come down and see significantly lower prices, I feel very different about these lower prices now. If I do pull a fib, this kind of a thing, I personally don't think we're going to get that kind of a pullback, but if something spooks the market and we do pull back to these levels, I feel very different about them now than I did before we broke this all-time high, because now we have structure going with us that, that the trend should continue to the upside. Obviously that can change. We break the lows of this whole range and then, yeah, maybe we nuke to significantly lower prices. Absolutely possible. But as it stands right now, this is kind of what I was waiting for, right? I mean, I was saying that I was being cautious around that 68 to 70K level. But after we broke that and then broke all-time highs, I mean, with the election over and everything, I just think the market has kind of chosen a direction. And I think it's going to uptrend for a while. I don't see why it would end this soon. I think we're just taking a little pause and building structure, if anything. Local bottom in. Yeah, it does look like, especially with that buy volume there, I'd be willing to ladder in a bit of a long. Does look like the Algo Master's starting to climb to the upside. Got that buy volume on the bands. What else do we got going on here? What is the auto charting tool saying? Does concern me that we ended up getting rejected here. I don't think I'm quite ready to pull the trigger. Still got the point of control above us. I want to get into a long position, but I feel like I would like to see us come back and retest this buy trend just to try and get in a little bit cheaper, a little bit lower. Nice. I might try and get into a scalp if we end up just staircasing higher. Like if we take this high out, confirming a higher low, then, you know, I can just keep a nice tight stop chasing the price basically. But I'd really like to see us pull back to this buy trend and get a bounce off it. That would be nice. But yeah, guys, I think I am done for the day. Doge. Ooh, Doge has a nice little run here. Buy trend curling aggressively to the upside on Doge. I'm going to be looking for longs on Doge again. I would like to see a Stuber fib pullback, but I might just have to suck it up and just get into a little guy and just ladder in on the way down. Yeah, there's no reason to be bearish right now, in my opinion. Just wait the little pullbacks out. But I'm, like I said, I'm not desperately trying to short anything right now. Yeah, exactly. We didn't range for 8 months to bit, to bite. Oh, to be little lettuce-handed bitches up only. Exactly. That's the thing. That's what blows my mind about how quickly people started desperately trying to short. Like a day or two after we broke all-time highs, it was like, guys, we've been ranging for 8 months. I mean, the longer you range, the better the breakout is going to be. So the fact that we ranged for so long, it just made no sense that within a couple days it was going to reverse and bull market over. I just wasn't buying that at all. And that's coming from the guy who was openly bearish for months. Everyone who was telling me, you know, and that played out great for, you know, those downswings. Yes, obviously the last time the trend broke, that's totally fine. But I was very clear that once we broke 70K, I had no reason basically to be bearish anymore. And it's just funny how so many people were so against me at those times and being so openly moon boys into resistance every time. But then they're instantly switching to shorting as soon as that breakout started. It was very weird, very strange. I personally think we see several months. I don't know. I could see this trend running for the, you know, obviously we're going to get pullbacks and that sort of thing. Nice, volatile, violent ones. But I think the overall trend is going to be to the upside for most of next year. Maybe half, maybe 3/4. I don't know. But I just see no reason why the uptrend needs to get absolutely nuked anytime soon. Even if Bitcoin can just range nicely, even if it doesn't break 100K, what if it just ranges from 95 down towards 70K or whatever? I mean, that would give a chance for altcoins to go ballistic. But yeah, I think Doge is going to be one that I'm going to be trading more often moving forward. Obviously not 69x leverage, but I'll be more shooting for the 20x, stuff like that. But Doge is definitely high up on my list just because, yeah, like I said, everything with Elon, him getting involved with the government, him naming the position after Doge. I mean, I just feel like it's going to perform very well this cycle again. So that is one of my altcoins of interest. But anyways, guys, I think that's about all I wanted to go over today. Yeah, just overall, I'm feeling good about the market. It sounds like everyone's kind of on the same page here that, you know, it just seems like we have a nice uptrend going. So from here, yeah, like I said, you know, I've showed many examples of the super fibs and how I look at the indicators, which way they're trending and that sort of thing. So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking at on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, stuff like that. Honestly, even the longer time frames, just to get a feel for the market as a whole. But when I'm actually taking my trade setups, those are the things I'm looking for on the 1 minute and the 5 minutes. So that's my plan moving forwards, moving into the evening, moving into the week, etc., etc. So yeah, with that, my friends, hopefully you all learned something, or something that I said made sense. It's been fun. Always appreciate having you guys here. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, hopefully let's all get rich. Let's do it. Hopefully this trio will really send us all to the moon here. That's on you, Will. All right, guys. You all take care. Thank you so much for joining. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.